Hello everyone, my name is Grant Eaton and I work at SAP. In this video, I will walk you through the tasks to split the adaptive processing server. There are two topics I will demonstrate today. First, I will perform the steps necessary to split the adaptive processing server, which is also known as the APS, into multiple service instances that are each dedicated to a specific task. I will also set an appropriate Java heap size for each split APS. The target audience for this video is administrators of the SAP BI Platform servers. For the demonstration, I will be using BI Platform version 4.0 Service Pack 5 installed on a Windows 2008 platform. In principle, this video is also applicable to the Unix version of BI Platform. However, there are some slight deviations that I can't account for, so if you're using a Unix version of BI Platform, you will need to alter some of the steps that I'm about to show you, and those alterations are outside the scope of this video. There are three main benefits to splitting the APS. The first benefit is that we will enable the BI platform to make better use of system resources, particularly RAM, which has the benefit of smoothing out system performance. The second benefit is that thread execution and system resources are used more efficiently because we will dedicate specific process threads to handle narrowly focused tasks. This results in better system performance as well. And the third benefit is that our system will run more reliably and scale to support more users, particularly in the case of reporting on SAP BW data. And those three benefits mean you can support more users with less downtime caused by unscheduled outages. There are some consequences to splitting the APS which you should be aware of. First, the default APS runs at least 24 separate processes. It does this inside a Java program with a default heap size of only 1 GB. Second, when you split the APS, the amount of RAM required by the server will go up significantly. Third, because splitting the APS requires a lot of extra RAM, realistically your server is going to need at least 16 GB of RAM, if not 20, 24, or 32 GB. And in some configurations, 48 or even 64 GB of RAM may be beneficial. For most installations, the APS splitting procedure should be considered a standard practice to maximize the scalability of the system. There is another important resource that you should refer to help you plan splitting your APS. The APS splitting procedure is described in the following white paper available on the SAP Community Network. Please read it because it discusses some important details that are outside the scope of this video. The default adaptive processing server contains 24 or more subprocesses. Running the processes together keeps the deployment more simple, and it also keeps the RAM requirements lower, but at the potential cost of scalability. This is why splitting the APS into multiple instances is a good practice, because it enables more diversification of resource usage and isolation of specific tasks into dedicated Java containers. And each Java container will have its own memory heap setting. In principle, splitting the services will cause greater RAM usage when the system is idle, and significantly greater RAM usage when it is under use. But in return, we'll have better system scalability. There are several good ways to split the APS, and some methods are more sophisticated than others. Generally speaking, the more APS instances you have, the higher the basic RAM usage requirements will be. So it's a good practice to split the APS in a way that's not too complicated. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you today, a general purpose splitting approach that should work well for the majority of deployments. The first APS I'll create is the DSL Bridge service, a component that is responsible for querying and serving data to reports. The DSL Bridge service is probably going to need a heap size of 4 to 8 GB. The second APS is for search services. The search services index platform metadata and report objects so that users can search for keywords in the BI Launchpad. The recommended heap size for the search instance is going to be 2 to 3 GB. The third APS is for the multidimensional OLAP services. These enable reporting via the Analysis Reporting Tool and Beck's Web Application Service. The recommended heap size for the OLAP APS instance is 4 to 8 GB. The fourth APS is for the Lifecycle Management Services. These handle promotion management and version control. The LCM instance is unique in that there should only be one LCM APS instance per cluster because the LCM overrides database does not support access by multiple instances of the LCM services. The heap size for the LCM instance should be about 1 to 2 gigabytes. The fifth APS is for publishing services. These handle personalized reporting publications, also known as bursting and fanning of report instances. The recommended heap size for the publishing APS instance is about 2 to 4 gigabytes. The sixth APS is for web intelligence services, which you may see referred to in some places of the central management console as interactive analysis services. This instance provides services related to the web intelligence reporting tool. The recommended heap size is 2 to 4 gigabytes. And the seventh and final APS instance is for all other APS services. These include tasks like translations, auditing, Excel data access, monitoring, adaptive connectivity, data federation, and a variety of other tasks. The recommended heap size for this APS instance is 2 to 4 gigabytes. All right, let's get started. The tasks I will demonstrate today should be performed on production and non-production BI environments. First, start your Internet Explorer browser and go to the Central Management Console. Log in as a user with administrative privileges. Go to the Servers section of the CMC and select Core Services. This is where your default adaptive processing server will be listed. We're going to stop and disable this service and set it so that it doesn't start again. Right-click and choose Stop Server. While the server is stopping, right-click again and choose Disable Server. Now we're going to set the server so it won't start again. Go to Properties, scroll down the list, and deselect Automatically Start Server. Now we're ready to clone the server. Right-click on the server and choose Clone Server. And we're going to create a DSL Bridge server, so in the server name, put DSL Bridge so we know what this server does. Click OK. And now the new DSL Bridge server will appear in the list, but it needs to be customized to perform that specific task. Right-click and choose Select Services. Remove all services and choose only the DSL Bridge service and the Security Token service. These will by default automatically include the trace log and web intelligence or interactive analysis monitoring services. We can see this now by right-clicking and going to Edit Common Services, and we will now see 4 services in the list. Click Cancel. And now right-click, go to Properties, and we're going to customize the heap size. Go to the command line parameters and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy the command line to the clipboard. Start Notepad. Paste the command line into the Notepad and change the Java heap size from 1 gigabyte to 4 gigabytes. Press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C again to copy the Notepad contents to the clipboard. Now go back to the command line. Press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-V to paste the contents of the notepad to the command line. This is the easiest way to edit command lines. Then scroll down the list and turn on the option to automatically start the server. Now right-click on the server and choose Start Server. Then right-click again and choose Enable Server. Next, we're going to create a search server. Right-click on the original adaptive processing server and choose Clone Server. Change the server's name to Search Server so that we know what it's going to do. Click OK. Then find your newly created search server. Right-click, go to Select Services, remove all services, and choose only the Platform Search Service. Then click OK. Verify what has been selected by going to Edit Common Services. You should see only Platform Search and Tracelog. Now right-click, go to Properties, go to the command line and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C. Start Notepad and paste using Ctrl-V the contents of the command line. Scroll down and find the Java heap, which is indicated as -xmx1g, and change it to 2G. So the Java heap is now 2 gigabytes. Press Ctrl-A, then Ctrl-C, go back to the command line, press Ctrl-A, and then Ctrl-V, scroll down, and enable the automatic service start option and press Save and Close. Next, go to the Applications area of the Central Management Console and find the Platform Search service. Right-click and go to Properties or double-click. Scroll down the list and indicate the level of indexing as Platform Metadata only. Deselect the Universe content type for indexing and tick the box for Rebuild Index, then save and close. Click OK. Now go back to Servers, go to Core Services, right-click on the search service, go to Start Server, then right-click again, and choose to enable the server. Now right-click and clone the server, and we're going to create the third adaptive processing server for OLAP and MDAS analysis. Right-click on it and go to Select Services, remove all services, and only select the OLAP processing server, which is known as Multidimensional Analysis Service and BEX Web Application Service. These services are now going to be listed under Analysis Services. So here's the new adaptive processing server. Right-click, go to Edit Common Services, and verify what has been selected. Right-click and go to Properties, go to Command Line Parameters, and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy the command line to the clipboard. Go to Notepad and press Ctrl-V to paste the contents of the clipboard. Locate the Java command line and change the Java heap size from 1G to 4Gs. Press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy to the clipboard. Go back to the command line and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-V to paste. Scroll down and tick the box to enable automatic service starting. Now right-click on the adaptive processing server, start the server, then right-click again and choose to enable it. Now return to the default adaptive processing server, clone it, and change the name to indicate that this service will help process Webby documents. Right-click on the new Webby service, choose Select Services, remove all services except the following ones shown here: Visualization Service, Interactive Analysis Services, otherwise known as Web Intelligence Monitoring Service, and the Rebean service. Also select the Document Recovery service. Click OK. Then the new service will appear under Web Intelligence Services. Right-click on it, go to Properties, go to the command line and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy it to the clipboard. Start Notepad, press Ctrl-V to paste the clipboard, and edit the Java heap size, changing it from 1 GB to 4 GB. Press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-C. Go back to the command line and press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-V to paste. And scroll down and tick the box to automatically start this service. Save and close. And then right-click on the new adaptive processing server for Webby and start the server. Right-click again. Click Enable. Now return to the default adaptive processing server and clone it. Change the server name to indicate that the service will handle processing of publications. Now right-click on the publishing service and choose Select Services. Remove all except the following. Choose the Publishing Service and the Publishing Post-Processing Service. Right-click on the service, go to Properties, go to the command line parameters, and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy the contents to the clipboard. Go to Notepad and press Ctrl-V to paste the contents into Notepad. Find the Java heap settings and change it from 1 GB to 4 GB. Press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-C. Go back to the command line parameters and press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-V to paste the new command line. Scroll down and tick the box for enabling automatic service starting. Save and close. Then right-click on the publishing service and start it, Right-click again and enable it. And if we right-click and go to Edit Common Services, we can see the services that are included. Now, right-click and clone the Adaptive Processing Server and make another service. This one will handle lifecycle management, so we're going to indicate LCM in the title. Right-click on the new LCM service, go to Select Services, remove all existing services and select only these shown here. Those will be the Lifecycle Management Clear Case Service and the Lifecycle Management Service, as well as the Visual Difference Service. Click OK. Then the new service will appear under the Lifecycle Management Services area of the Servers console. Right-click on it, go to Edit Common Services and verify what is listed. Now right-click and choose Properties, go to the command line and press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-C to copy the contents to the clipboard. Start Notepad and press Ctrl-V to paste the clipboard. Now edit the Java heap and change it from 1G to 2G. Press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-C to copy, and then go back to the command line and press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-V to paste it. Now scroll down and tick the box that will enable this service to auto-start. Save and close. Now right-click and press Start Server. Right-click again and choose Enable Server. We're now ready to create our final Adaptive Processing Server instance. Return to the original Adaptive Processing Server, right-click and clone it. Set the server name to indicate that this will process all other adaptive processing tasks. Right-click again, choose Select Services, remove all services except the following ones shown here: Insight to Action, Client Auditing Proxy, Data Federation, Excel Data Access Service, Adaptive Connectivity Service, Monitoring Service, Security Token Service, Translation Service, and Custom Data Access Service. Go to Properties, go to the command line and press Ctrl-A and then Ctrl-C to copy the contents to the clipboard. Start Notepad and press Ctrl-V to paste those contents. Scroll through and find the Java heap setting and change it from 1G to 4G. Press Ctrl-A again and then Ctrl-C. Now go back to the CMC, to the command line, and press Ctrl-A and Ctrl-V to paste the command line. Scroll down and tick the box to automatically start the server. Save and close, then right-click on the server and choose Start Server, then right-click again and choose Enable Server. You have now completed the task of splitting your adaptive processing servers. Please note that you should not delete your original adaptive processing server. Leave it in a state of being disabled, stopped, and not able to start up automatically. This will enable you to recover this service and reactivate it in the event that you need to do so for troubleshooting or support purposes.